Welcome back everyone to Pontus Fathom Hobbies. This is Season 4 of Game of Thrones the board game, and we will be playing the Mother of Dragons expansion, and we'll also be playing the Dances with Dragons expansion in a variant form. So what we're doing is we're going to fast forward through the board setup here, take a look at the components on the board, and then we'll get into how we're going to use the Dances with Dragons along with the Mother with Dragons expansion. From the Mother of Dragons expansion, we have House Targaryen in Essos. Then we have Aeron in Eyrie. We also have Sunspear's forces set up. We've got House Tyrell's forces set up. Greyjoy is there in the Pike. And Lannister is in Lannisport. House Baratheon in Dragonstone. And finally, we've got House Stark in Winterfell. So across the we've got the 4 decks set up for Westeros and Essos phases, Wilding deck and track set up. We've gone ahead and set up the victory and round markers, the supply tokens for each house, as well as the Iron Throne, Fiefdom, and King's Court for all 8 players have been set up. And then finally the Iron Bank is part of Mother of Dragons. So for each house, we've set up all their tokens, their mustering tokens, their forces, and we've also set up the initial house cards from including Mother of Dragons, but this is where we'll expand using the Dances with Dragon expansion. And to play this as the Dances with Dragons variant, we're going to include the Dances with Dragon variant house cards. But the way we're going to play it is as, for example, we've already got the house cards in each of our houses. We will only progress to the Dances with Dragons house cards as those decks are depleted. So as Baratheon completes their house cards, then we can move into the variant house cards. And these will show the changes that happen throughout the scenario. So basically, we're adapting some of the Dances with Dragons to fit in with the Mother of Dragons gameplay. We won't be using the Dances with Dragons setup scenarios. We'll stay with the standard setup scenarios for Mother of Dragons. And again, Mother of Dragons Targaryen deck does not have representation in these, so we will use for House Aeron and House Targaryen, we'll just recycle those cards. But you can see we've got Tyrell, Sunspear, Greyjoy, Lannister, Baratheon, and Stark represented by these, and these will be most prominent with, say, like House Stark, which starts out as the Stark house, but then it becomes the Bolton house later through the game. So as those cards get depleted, we'll switch over to these cards, and that'll show some progression in the game. So, and it'll probably happen about halfway through the deck, halfway through the game. Because if you look at the house cards, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 cards each. So halfway through the game, halfway through the rounds, we should be switching over to the Dances with Dragon cards. And we'll call it out in each game. So that's the one variant we'll play. A variant of using the Dances with Dragons along with the Mother of Dragons expansion. Okay, so the last couple things to do for the setup. One is we place a Targaryen loyalty token on King's Landing, which the Targaryen player can earn back. We'll read the Targaryen victory conditions. They're a little bit different, but basically it's like the idea here is Daenerys is looking for these loyalties throughout Westeros and Essos based on these loyalty tokens, and if she occupies those lead to a victory point. So we'll get to those later. We'll set up the Iron Bank. We'll just give this a quick shuffle, and we'll reveal the first Iron Bank card. And we'll get into those as the gameplay goes on. And obviously those costs of these cards, as the card moves over, the cost comes down. Then we'll do a quick shuffle of the 4 phases. Westeros Phase 1, Westeros Phase 2, Westeros phase 3. And then Essos phase 4. And then lastly, we can, lastly, we can shuffle the Wilding's deck. Okay. So we've got all of our decks shuffled. We've got the Dances with Dragon expansion house cards in reserve. So as we play through the Mother with Dragons rules, as those cards run out for each house, we will replace them with the Dances with Dragons houses, and this will sort of show the progression of the story of Game of Thrones as it progresses. We also will not be playing the Mother with Dragon vassal cards or the vassal setup, so we're going to go with the setups in the hard card. Since we have 8 players, we won't have any vassals, so these will go back in the box. And we're going to get ready to jump into turn 1. Before we do, a quick shout out from our channel sponsor, Pontos Fathom Press. We've got 2-volume set, Tales of the Yellow Sign, The King in Yellow by Robert Chambers, August Moldenhauer, providing the preface to that, and then August Moldenhauer's Volume 2, Lost Carcosa and the Yellow Sign. This is how we support the channel, so check out our links below. We'll see you in turn 1 if you click on the link, and thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.